Welcome back everybody, I'm Dean for My Progress, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 PhD questions and answers that you might be asked within your PhD interview. As always, before we carry on, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and in the comment section down below, let us know any questions that you were asked in your PhD interviews, which you found tricky and you'd like to help other people in the community prepare for. Now, of course, your PhD interview can be extremely anxiety provoking, and associated with your PhD proposal can be the two main barriers which prevent you from getting onto that PhD program of choice. We've covered lots of content to do with how you actually go about constructing that proposal, so we'll put those in the descriptions below. But this video will focus on that secondary part of how you go about that interview in the first place. This is by no means a definitive list of questions that you might get in your PhD interview, but they are our top 5 and the things that we think that you should be preparing for. First, and most common, why do you want to do a PhD? This is an extremely straightforward question, but it conveys an answer which perhaps isn't as straightforward as you'd imagine. We all know that your PhD is a huge undertaking, and this question almost teases apart your motivations and your passion for doing a PhD. It is looking for that element of enthusiasm and is almost trying to tease apart what you envisage to be one of the core outcomes of you obtaining a PhD. As a PhD interviewer, I don't want to be hearing things such as "I want one" or "because it's the next step in my progress." I want you to be specific. I want to know what it is exactly from completing a PhD, the skills, the knowledge, the self-development that you are going to take forward in the future, and how you anticipate you yourself will be using it in your future careers. The second and very closely related question is, why do you want to do a PhD in this particular program and or at this particular university? This is where you should be considering what drew you to this particular university in the first place. Has this program got some unique selling point that you'd like to exhibit and showcase to your interviewers? For example, is there a certain professor that you want to be working with and collaborating with to really push your project further? Or is there a piece of machinery or kit that you envisage will really amplify the impact of your PhD and make it so that if you were to do your PhD anywhere else in the world, it would not be as good, it would not be as impactful as it would be at your interviewing institution? It might also be the location of the university which is driving you there. So for example, you might have family and friends in the area. You might already know people that work in the department. What this allows you to do as an interviewer is see that the candidate is going to be anchored to your university and to your program. One thing an interviewer does not want to see is the potential for a candidate to leave or break study within their program. Essentially, the answer that you give to this question is there to showcase that you know and have done research in this area at this university and this program specifically. It is also an opportunity to say that you don't just want to do a PhD, but you want to do that PhD at this particular university. If you can evidence attachment to that institution, it will go a long way. The third key question is, what makes you an ideal candidate for this program? Now, of course, your PhD interviewers will have seen your proposal, they will have seen your CV, but this is your moment to draw their attention to anything that you think is spectacular about you as a person and your experiences. What would you like to showcase to them, which perhaps went a little bit unseen within your CV or resume? This will allow you to shoehorn in any experiences that you've had that you feel will hold you above the rest of your competitors within this particular program. What is it about your experiences that make you special? And you might be drawing upon these from your work experience, your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, or further afield. I've even had candidates before talk about their family life and how that has geared them up to engaging in a PhD. For example, through resilience or the need to plan ahead. This will also allow you to evidence to your interviewers that you understand just how complex and difficult a PhD is. And this is your moment to stand out from the rest of the crowd, which, especially if we're talking about funded PhDs, is becoming increasingly important as we walk into 2023, where the competition is so much higher. Question 4, what difficulties or barriers do you expect to encounter during this program of study? No matter how carefully we plan, it's always going to be the case that throughout your PhD, you are going to encounter difficulties. These might be small difficulties, such as not being able to recruit certain demographics as quickly as you thought you were going to do, or they could be huge barriers, such as particular elements in your life that might go awry, which of course are so difficult to plan for. This allows your interviewers to know that you are logistically minded and that you feel yourself that your research project is going to be logistically viable and able to be successfully completed within the time allotted. Also allows them to know that you are a realistic thinker. So for example, if your particular demographic that you're recruiting from are children or individuals that have complex health needs, you can talk about how you intend to get access to these individuals and how you aim to work with them very ethically minded to get the high quality of data that are deserved of those participants. A very poor answer to this is that I do not anticipate any barriers at all to come my way. That shows that perhaps you're not quite ready to step into a PhD program, and if you are ready, that you might not have the resilience necessary to succeed. This is an excellent time for you to start thinking about everything that could go wrong in your PhD, and moreover start to make plans of how to succeed if you're faced with them in the future. And finally, question 5, what are your future career plans? And this is another one of those sneaky questions that interviewers use to seek out whether their candidates are fully ready to complete a PhD program. Here they are looking to see if you've actually planned out your career and whether or not your PhD fully maps onto the success of that career. Many times I've been interviewing candidates when it's turned out that actually a PhD isn't necessary for them to take the next step towards their career goal. Such clear-minded thinking also allows the interviewers to establish whether or not the PhD is right for that individual and whether or not the candidate is likely to succeed if they start the PhD program. When answering, for many individuals, their ultimate career goal will be in academia. As such, you'll be wanting to draw on elements such as being a project manager, being able to fine-tune and give really impactful, realistic and time-relevant research in a given research area. You might also draw on the development of skills related to teaching and the dissemination of information, which will hold you in really good stead when you're competing for those academic positions. For other individuals, you might be wanting to go down that industry pathway, and as such, you want to be showcasing all of the skills relevant to that particular sector that you are likely to develop within your PhD program. Again, the notion of project management seems to be a really good starting point. Regardless of what your future career aspirations are, however, your interviewer will want to see that your PhD directly maps onto your future career and isn't just to add on to your CV. So there we have it. Those are our top 5 questions that you are likely to be asked within your PhD interview. To recap, why do you want to do a PhD? What makes our program and our institution the place that you want to do your PhD? What experiences make you an ideal candidate for this program? What difficulties you envisage encountering on this program of study, and how your PhD directly maps onto your future career goals. I really hope this video has been useful. If it has, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and in the comment section down below, let us know whether there's any other questions that you think you're going to be asked within your PhD interviews, and we'll give you some tips on how to answer them. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.